I think we sit on our hands and we expect specialists to tell us what to do versus taking into consideration some common sense measures. Water quality testing has shown that the ocean water is not that much cleaner than the harbor water. And I don't have the numbers exactly. They were presented to us at CHAB, but I wish I retained this in memory. But I feel as though we're making an attempt at cleaning the entire Atlantic Ocean by sewering Shimo and Monomoy. To me, this is redundant, and we need to prove to the state that we have found many methods that can possibly have a very positive impact on flushing out our harbor, cleaning the water, and bringing back some of the habitat that once existed here. When I fished with my dad in '76, we fished the upper harbor till the last day of scallop season. The eelgrass was thick. The scallops were gigantic. Back then it was a 6-bag limit per person. We had our 12 bags on March 31st by noontime, and there were 150 boats in the fleet. And
Good. That's a good one.
The Shellfish Association.
Are you on that board? I thought you were.
I'm not. No, I'm on the Harbor Shellfish Advisory Board.
Oh, okay.
And I have been asked if I'm interested to join the Shellfish Association, which I am. It's up to them to choose from a number of people to add to their board. But they are going to come out with a glossy handout to give to boaters who come into the harbor and the marina. There already is one handed out, I believe, by the Marine Department, but this is all voluntary. And today, how many people are volunteering to do the right thing?
Yeah.
But right. Another thing I recently noticed was the town applying salt to our streets and sidewalks. They're using a calcium chloride coated salt on the roads.
Yeah, you don't like that.
And not at all. And then we're using what's called and truckloads of what's called atomic ice melt.
You really think that the ingredient in that is having an effect on the harbor?
I do.
You think that it's just something that we shouldn't use?
I handed
it's just too questionable.
I handed the bag to a scientist. The scientist looked into the 7 elements that are in this ice melt and claimed that these elements are found naturally in the ocean. I talked to another biologist about it who said, sure, they may be found naturally in the ocean, but once you chemically combine these 7 elements, they become something totally different. Now, I'm seeing roadside vegetation in New Hampshire from this salt treatment that they use there, which is basically the same, calcium chloride coated salt. It's killing the vegetation. It says on the bag that it's environmentally friendly, but then down at the bottom it says harmful if swallowed. And I assume that is focused at human. Don't swallow this. How's the little scallop liking swallowing that element? Do we need to be dumping truckloads of salt and
well, if somebody trips on this, they're already uneven as it is, the sidewalks. Mm-hmm. So if somebody trips, it's just it's time to sue. I mean, for most people,
it's become an occupation. That's what it is.
Unfortunately,
it's very sad that it's become an occupation.
That's where we are in this.
One more thing that I've noticed is, having grown up on Kotu, basically, there used to be dunes on this inner side, the harbor side of Kotu. There used to be thick beaches that you could park your vehicle on. It didn't matter what tide. Literally, and I'm not exaggerating, millions of yards of sand since the no-name storm of '91 have washed into the harbor. Dunes have disappeared. Beaches have disappeared. This sand has all washed out into the harbor, and it's a very granular sand. It has smothered eelgrass beds. I've talked to scallopers who say, I'm throwing my dredges out in areas where I used to get scallops, and I'm coming up with sand. the eelgrass, no matter how much we try to clean this harbor through sewering, eelgrass is not going to grow in this granular sand. And this may sound crazy, but if you watch the Discovery Channel and you see these guys out in Alaska and they've got a big suction tube and they're sucking up sand and rocks and everything else to try to find gold in the Bering Strait. What if we hired a guy like that who could take his time through each summer and start sucking that sand up until he reaches that rich, nutrient-filled soil where eelgrass can thrive, and pump that sand back up on the beach where it belongs?
I'm going to be devil's advocate. Do we need to spend that much money and that much time and effort to try to hang on to a scallop industry? Things have changed. We're not an island of fishermen anymore.
This is true.
Right? We have a different kind of dynamic here.
Certainly there's only 10% of the fishermen who used to exist here decades ago. But it is still a sought-after, succulent... people like the Nantucket Bay scallop on the menu, and it does carry our name of Nantucket, and we are one of the last places where the scallop exists. And other places, the Vineyard, Long Island, their stock of scallops has diminished worse than ours.
Right.
So I'm certainly all for whatever we can do, but to help maintain this fishery. I think if eelgrass beds were to replenish and more scallops were to thrive here, that there would probably be an interest for more fishermen to get involved. And let's face it, the building boom isn't going to last forever.
Well, now, you said that it's not going to get sewered up this far.
No.
So that means that this guy right here, with his green lawn, beautiful lawn, fertilizes. So where's all that go? Right in there.
That's what they say, especially with this time-released type capsule they're using for fertilizer.